Ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause for Mr. Samson Oguntayo.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
Okay. My name is Samson. I'm the CEO of Inside Out Marketing Solutions. If you already have your own business, can I get a yay?
Yay!
Okay, I would assume everybody's got their own business. Is there anybody here who has an idea but hasn't actually started a business yet? If you haven't started a business yet, you have an idea. Can I get a whoopity-doop? Okay, so everybody's got a business. Okay, cool. This same knowledge is power. I hear this a lot. Do you believe knowledge is power? If you believe knowledge is power, can I get a yay?
Yay!
So everybody believes knowledge is power?
Yeah.
Okay. If you don't believe knowledge is power, can I get a whoopity-doo? Okay, so there's a few people who don't believe knowledge is power. Okay, good. Thank you.
It's potential power.
Okay. I mean, the reason why I'm asking this is because most times, we say that knowledge is power. You hear it a lot. But it kind of appears as if this knowledge is esoteric. Esoteric is knowledge that's available to only a few. Because if knowledge is power, do you agree with me? If knowledge is power, then everybody should be empowered. All you have to do is gain knowledge, right? Okay. You see, the reason why I'm saying this is because some of the most unproductive people I've ever met, forgive me for this, is our people. When I say our people, I'm referring to the older African Caribbeans. The reason why I say they're unproductive is simply because when I want to show you one of my slides soon, and you're going to look at the difference between our business owners, how we do business, and how they do business. Right? Now, I took it upon myself. This is called market research. This is something that our business owners hardly do. I took it upon myself to go out onto the high streets. I walked into African Caribbean businesses. I didn't go into the I only went into the African business because I want to understand why you do business the way we do. And I just wanted to understand what it is that makes us do business the way we do. And you'll be surprised what I found out. The first question I ask when I walk into the businesses is, do you need more customers for your business? And they said to me, well, everybody needs more customers for their business. That's not what I asked you. I'm not asking what everybody wants. Do you need more customers for your business? And they said, well, of course, yes, I do. Then I said, okay, what are you currently doing to gain new customers for your business? And then there's silence. And then we're staring at each other. You said you need more customers for your business. True? Yeah. What are you currently doing to gain more customers for your business? We're just staring at each other. Okay. So I ask another question. I say, how much is one customer worth to your business? Now, I really sweep them off their feet when I ask this one. And I can understand why. Because it took me some time to get to that too. Okay, how much is one customer worth to your business? Then I said to them, they were like, what do you mean? How do you? I said, okay, the reason why I'm asking you this question is because I'll take Asda for example. Asda will say that one customer is worth £107,000 to their business, or thereabouts. How do they come to that value? I shop in Asda. I've been shopping in Asda for years. I don't know about you, but I've never spent up to that, not even 50,000 in Asda. When they do business that lasts generation after generation. They want you to be a customer for life. We do business that lasts today, tomorrow, and then, you know. So, I decided to help them value their customers. And what I do is I ask them, it is not something that has to be, rigorous. It's just, it's just an estimate. Think about how much, on average, one customer spends in your business, right? Please write that down. How much, on average, one customer spends in your business? Then what you do is multiply that by the amount of times. It's just an average. It doesn't have to be exact figure. The amount of times you feel that you can get these customers to revisit your business in a year. If a year is too much, do it by weeks, do it by months, and then you multiply it as you see fit, right? Now multiply that figure by the mortality rate of your customers. Why? Because you're supposed to expect these customers to continuously visit your business and do business with you for as long as they live. So if your target audience is about 18, what is the mortality rate of the UK? Let's say maybe 70, right? Subtract 18 from 70, 52, okay. Whatever it is, subtract it, multiply it by those figures, right? That will give you an estimate of how much one customer is worth to your business. Now, when you look at that figure, believe me, it will change your mindset. You will stop doing business with Jesus is Lord written on the building and giving rubbish customer service. When you understand how much one customer is worth to your business, look, we've moved from the age of customer is always right. People say now that customer is king. Listen, people say now that customer is God. You haven't heard that one? Google it. You don't have customers, you don't have a business. They're the lifeblood of your business. Why are you playing with them? So, on my little adventure, only 2 businesses out of about 20 business owners, African Caribbean business owners, actually made an effort to gain new customers. And when I say effort, what do I mean by effort? Flyers, ads, and the likes of them. This is what we call marketing. Ironically, they were the only 2 businesses that had multiple branches. I'll say that again. Ironically, they were the only 2 businesses out of about 20. I did this for 2 weeks straight. Walked into the high street and I was talking to African business owners. Only 2. Now, I say that to say this. There was one woman I spoke to who had been in business for 16 years. Her business had lasted 16 years. She sold items for parties, decoration and stuff like that. Our shop looked like a rundown pet shop. That's what our shop looked like. Now, I will use one African restaurant as a case study. Tommy's Kitchen. Tommy's Kitchen said to me that they've been in business for 20 years. Only 4 years more than that woman I'm talking about. They have 3 to 4 branches. Okay? So, but I understand what the issue is. I understand understand what the problem is. The problem is, what you don't know, you can't use it. What you don't have. Okay. So, what is actually happening is this. The world is constantly changing. But it's like how people they've refused to adapt. They have rejected growth. Literally. At different times in human history, several forms of currencies were used. They've had cattle, they've had precious stones, even salted fish. Now, can you imagine trying to use those currencies today? That is the equivalent of what our people are doing with business. You're doing business like we are in dinosaur age. If you want to compete, you have to change the way you do business. Knowledge is power. I'm sorry if you don't agree. I'll tell you why. Maybe later on you find out what I've acquired because of knowledge. Knowledge is power, and it's not esoteric. At least if you're in this part of the world, the people back in Africa, they have an excuse. Even big multinational companies, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Starbucks, they don't cease to innovate. They don't cease to innovate. Because if you fall asleep for even a moment, you will get punished severely by your competitors. Does anybody here know Blockbuster? If you know Blockbuster, can I get a yay? Yeah. Okay. Where is Blockbuster now? What happened to Blockbuster? I'll tell you what happened to Blockbuster. Netflix happened to Blockbuster. Netflix happened to Blockbuster. Netflix went to Blockbuster about maybe, I think it was about 5 years ago. Don't quote me on some of these things because I might not be 100% on the figures. But I think it was about 5 years into their business. They went to Blockbuster and asked Blockbuster to partner with them in their own technology. Blockbuster told them to F off. Now, Blockbuster don't exist. They actually don't exist because of Netflix. Netflix is worth billions. Just Google it. If you know Coca-Cola, can I get a whooping dude with a guy that don't beat? I'm sure everybody knows Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is in trouble, by the way. Coca-Cola is in trouble. They're currently running a project called The Last Frontier. And the last frontier is the African market. That's all they have left. Because Pepsi has taken the American market, Asian market. Listen, Pepsi has knocked them off the block. But you still see Coca-Cola on TV. They still advertise, they still marketing relentlessly. The last frontier is Africa. They want to come and ruin ours. Because they don't have anybody else there's nobody else who wants to do business with them. So they're facing Africa. That's the last frontier. This is how business goes. But our people, my people, are so religious. They start a business, open up a business, and start fasting. Look, you fast until your business is fasted. Then I ask this question, I find it very funny. Why is it that atheists are so financially blessed? I'm sorry, I'm not a pastor, but I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there. This one you can quote me on. Genesis 3:17. Okay? Genesis 3:17. Genesis 3:19. Go and look it up. Then to Adam he said, because you have heeded the voice of your wife, and have eaten from the tree of which I commanded you, saying you shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for your sake. Now listen to this. In toil you shall eat of it all the days of your life. In toil you shall eat of it. He didn't say, because you're no longer in my perfect will, you will never be able to provide. He said, you would toil. Has anybody ever heard of hard work? What happened to hard work? Why are you hating on the atheists? They've understood that knowledge is power now.
That's right. That's right.
Funny enough,
That's right.
I've read a lot of books written by these people, billionaires. You will be surprised to hear that a lot of the things that they live by are actually in the Bible. They are acquiring knowledge from the Bible. 19. Genesis 3:19. By the sweat of your brow you will eat your food. By the sweat. You have to work hard for it. In fact, it is by the means of the curse that people have to work hard. So we born again shouldn't have to work hard. If the curse has been lifted, why are you struggling? You want your business to grow? Do business. Now I'm going to show you something. Okay, we don't know how this works. Can you spot the difference between this and this? I'll show you again. This and this.
Come again, please.
Can you spot the difference between this picture and this one?
Yeah.
Yeah? Can anybody tell us what it is that you see? What is the difference between these two pictures?
The audience.
Not to. It's just the packaging, the branding, the packaging, the presentation of their business.
Okay, thank you. Now this is my own. I'm supposed to be talking about how to create a brand. Unfortunately, look, there's not enough time for me to put everything that I know inside. It's not possible. I'm just going to give you, as much as I can. But this is my own interpretation of a brand, what you're looking at right now. And this is a business, what you're looking at right now.
Okay.
Now, let me show you something. In this picture, you see 3 companies. They're 3 different companies. They're right next to each other. Right next to each other. Would you be surprised to find out that even though all 3 of them are in the same industry, they're in the apparel industry, all 3 of them, their turnover, their revenues yearly is still in the millions. They're right next to each other. Tell me what you think the revenue of this ones are. You see, this thing is not about somebody is doing me like my people like to say. By the way, a lot of multinational companies did start from humble beginnings. This is Tesco then, this is Tesco now. This is Marks and Spencer then, Marks and Spencer now. So you know that not all of these companies just landed boom in front of you. All rich. So, but I know what the problem is. I know what the problem is. And I want to be the solution. I want to be the solution. This is why I started a crusade. If you won't listen to me, okay, it's fine. I'm going to be anyways. I'm going to show you a chart. Because the problem is, it is understandable that it is difficult to measure how your marketing activities, the impact your marketing activities has on sales. I find a lot that this is a problem that makes people shy away from marketing. Right? Now let me show you something. This picture here is from a leading global information and measurement company, Nielsen. It's not my data. You can look them up. Now if you look at this diagram, what you would find at the top of the chart is most influential forms of advertising. At the very top, you would probably be thinking that should have been TV, right? But it's not. It's recommendations from people I know. Basically, word of mouth. So what we're saying is word of mouth is the most powerful. That's what this chart is saying. Look at where TV ads, websites, radio, and social networks fall. Right? Now here's what I wanna, this is where I believe that I'm a solution. I can help use the social network, which is only 55%, right? We can couple it with the word of mouth at the very top. We can mesh this together for you. And on top of that, we'll show you how to measure the impact. You will see it right in front of you. How many people visited your website because of the advertisement or promotion that you did? How many people bought your items from here, from there? You will see it. So, I'm also supposed to talk to you today about how does one even start business? But I don't need to talk about that because everybody here has a business. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you something that I created called the SIW model. It's a very simple model. Some of the most simple things in life, they're the ones that make the huge difference. But a lot of times, people in general, they always want to see something drastic happen for them to see that something, productive will come from it. I'll give you an example. Salvation. It's so simple. Just accept the Lord Christ and say these words, and that's it. But would you believe some people still feel like that? I can't believe. It's too easy. No, we have to kill the rams, we have to kill the goats. We have to bury this, we have to bury that. You see? So the SIW model is a very simple model, yet demanding. This model is designed to magnify the potential already latent within you. It's already there. I'll say it again. It is designed to magnify the potential that is already latent within you. I'm a great believer that every human being on this planet were gifts from God. And in them is something that can make them way for them for providing them whatever it is they need. In fact, I believe that there's more than one thing in everybody. So, this model would help you bring that thing out. How does it work? It's simply your strengths interests, and weaknesses. That's all it is. That's all it is. But now I'll show you how it works. The weaknesses, you should, if I ask you what your weaknesses are, you will write a long list, longer than my arm, I'm sure. Because everybody has something to complain about. I can't do this, I can't do that. But if I was to ask you what your strengths are, you'll begin to struggle. It will take you even longer, way much longer to write. But what you need to do is find time to list these things in this diagram like so. When you're done doing that, what you need to do is find the connection between your strengths and your interests. You see, a lot of times, our people, my parents, they always tell me, knowledge is power. We always tell our children, knowledge is power. But I've never seen my parents read. How are you going to tell me that knowledge is power and I've never seen you read? Practice what you preach. You're telling me knowledge is power. Why are you not reading, Mom? I found out the reason why people don't read is because a lot of times reading is boring. I ain't gonna lie to you, it's boring. However, have you noticed that there's some people, they've never picked up a book to read, but you see them with newspaper reading the back of it at the sports section. Some people know so much about football. They know the names of their girlfriends, they know the name of their concubines, they know so much about footballers, but they don't read. Now, the trick is that you should only concentrate on that which you're interested in. Start committing to mastery. Look at what it is that you're interested in. Look at your strengths and begin to commit to mastery. Start mastering what it is that you're interested in that links with your strengths. Then, you find a link between your interests and your weaknesses. The links between your weakness and your interests, you leave that for now. Concentrate on the link between your strengths and your interests. Now, when you're ready to take it to the next level, can I hear somebody say next level?
Next level.
When you're ready to take it to the next level, what you do is find a link between your weaknesses, interests, and strengths, all three. Because of my time, I won't be able to tell you what to do. But when you're ready to take it to the next level, all three, it will blow you. I think by the time you get to doing it, you will find out what it is that you need to do. I'll tell you a story. How do you grow your business, right? Without spending a fortune. I started a youth organization whilst I was in uni. The organization grew from 0 to over 800. In less than a year, the government officials heard about us. Where did the marketing come from? Flyers. Now, word of mouth. There's something called Facebook, which our people are running away from. I don't know what I can do. I feel like bashing our people. Listen, do you understand what's going on Facebook in terms of business? Do you understand? Listen, Facebook is word of mouth on steroids. Facebook is word of mouth on steroids. We will show you how you can use your Facebook page and all these little things on Facebook. You're not even ready for the advanced Facebook class. Oh my gosh. Look, some of the things that you can do on Facebook are so crazy. Right? You can use Facebook to measure. What needs SEO now? If you're still spending money on SEO, I'm sorry for it. Search engine optimization is dead. So, if you have employees, if you have a business and you have employees, we can give you customer service training. We call it customer care training because customer service is the thing of the past. We're now in the age of customer care. If you're interested in Facebook marketing, please, if you're not interested in Facebook marketing, I don't know what to say. If you understand that, look, if you think it's something that you will struggle, okay, you could ask your children, your niece, your nephew, whatever, you can employ them. This can be something that they actually do and get something from you, and you'll make them feel like they're doing something. And this thing works. Oh my gosh. Okay, how many of us heard about this event on Facebook? Can I show of hands if you heard about this event on Facebook? Okay, so we have at least 5 people, 4 or 5 people on Facebook. That's my point. Okay, so okay. That's me done.
Thank you very much, Samson. Please, you've not experienced the full Samson.
Could you just tell me probably in a few sentences, if I'm able to find my strength, match it up with my interests and weaknesses, what do I do with what I find, please?
This one, I would have to sit down with you. Basically, what you could do with it is take yourself to the next level. Look, let me tell you something. I used to be mute. I'm talking right now to you and jumping around. I used to be mute. I didn't speak. With the SIW, I discovered that I had a weakness that was needed in my interest, that was linked to my strength. I have some strengths that's connected to this interest, but I discovered a weakness that was connected to it. So I started mastering that weakness. I'm going to take Africa by a storm. Amen. It's on now.
Thank you.